Okay, so for day number 3 of my 7 days of Christmas series, I'm going to play around in my small Dylusions Creative journal with a wintry scene. Now, I've printed off on my computer a sheet of kind of mid-century modern trees, wintry kind of trees that I'm going to use in the background for the page. Now, obviously, this is going to be well, this would cover the entire of the page, but I don't want it to cover the entire of the page. I'm actually only going to have about half of it, so I'm going to tear it into, let me see, let's do it this way. And create a kind of wavy bottom, if you pardon the expression, like so. So that I can put that onto the page, and that creates a nice kind of almost a white bottom, so that it's all bottoms today, isn't it? It's going to create a nice kind of snowy kind of base for me to put down my next layer on top. But first of all, I need to glue this in. So to do that, I'm going to use some matte medium. This is matte medium from Indigo Blue. So this is Slap It On Matte. I'm just hoping that the hole in here isn't blocked up like it sometimes is. Let me just see if I can get... That's it. It sometimes clogs up a little bit. Look at that. Totally solid. So that means I can now drop a load of that matte medium across the top. Grab a brush. And then just start whacking that down so that there's plenty of matte medium to grab and hold. Bring the rest down here. Place that down onto my page. A little bit of wiggle room. That should do. And then we can just use the excess to go over the top. Don't mind if there's a little bit of wrinklage, a little bit of bubbling, just to add a little bit of texture into the background. So that's the whole lot. There we go. Again, I've printed this off using my Epson WF 2630 printer, which means that none of the ink is going to move because it's permanent when dry. So I need to get that dried off now. So I shall do that, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so that's all nice and dry now. So I want to create some kind of snowbanks down here. So I'm going to grab a piece of card, I'm going to tear it to get some uneven rises and falls for background. And then I'm going to just bring that over here, and I've got some Dina Wakley white paint. Not a lot left in this bottle now, so there's the white there. And I'm also going to use just a little bit of grey, just to add a little bit of kind of relief and detail. So just to kind of get that effect of undulating snowbanks. So I just need another foam. There we go. So I've got one that I've already got some white on. I'll explain what I did with that in a little while. So I'm just going to go over the edge up here, just to kind of start blurring that line out a little bit. And then grab a little bit of grey. Just helps to blank out and blend these edges a little. You can see just in the background there, it's kind of subtle. Probably would work better if I did that. rather than trying to, let's see, does that work better? Ah, there you go, you see. So let's go back over there and just add and see what that looks like. Cool, so that now brings that down a little bit. I'll just shuffle it over a tad, grab some more of that grey. And a little, still got some white there, haven't I? So I can always just vary that a little. And just do some light taps to create some snowbanks. I think that should just about do us. Happy with that. Messing about with paint, nothing better. Okay, just going to give that a quick blast with the heat gun. And once that's dry, I'll be right back. Okay, you can see those snowbanks a little bit better now. I've just had to alter the lighting a little bit just so you can get a bit more of a contrast on them, but you can see them much better now, and that's all nice and dry. So I'm just going to pop this to one side for a second, and I've got an old Tim Holtz die here. This is the Assembly Snowman, and I thought he would go really nice on the page. So what I've done is I've already run through my big shot with a piece of craft card. Now obviously you don't really particularly want to see me do that. Big shot's a big shot. And I've got all my little bits and pieces already cut out here to construct my snowman. Now the one in the picture, obviously that's white, and you've got a red scarf and you've got a little holly and a black hat, that kind of thing. So I did actually try and do a test on using picket fence to get the white on the craft, but it didn't particularly work. I'll just insert a little bit of footage here that you can see that I used on my tester. So I went ahead and got a one of the blending tools, one of the blending sponges, and I went ahead and tried to build up the colour using the picket fence, the white picket fence distressing. And as you can see, it doesn't really cover all that well. So I had a go at doing a couple of coats to see whether or not I could build up the layers to the right depth. But unfortunately, I wasn't happy with the whiteness of the picket fence on the craft card. So instead, I went ahead and grabbed my Dina Wakley white acrylic paint and then used that instead to colour everything, or to go over the top. And I did a couple of coats of the acrylic paint as well, just using the distress blending foam and tamped it down as a, you know, like a sponge, well, a sponge dauber, if you like. I couldn't remember the word for it then. Yeah, like a sponge dauber to build up that white. After I'd done that, I went ahead then and coloured the whole of the other bits and pieces in the snowman with the other distress inks that you saw me use. So now I have my white snowman. I've got the hat, which I did with black soot. I've then got the scarf that I did with candied apple. And then we've got the arms, which I did with vintage photo. And I did the band on his hat with the candied apple as well. The green was mowed lawn for the holly, and the carrot for his nose I used spiced marmalade. Now obviously the eyes I just used the black soot as well. So what I need to do now is to start layering these down and sticking these down onto my art journal page. So let's move those to one side, bring the art journal page back in, and I'm going to use if I can find it. Oh, there it is. My spirit glue for this. So we'll build it up onto the page. It's going to be a little bit fiddly. So we'll put the base of our snowman about there. And then we'll put the body. Obviously, depending on where we place the main body part, depends on how skinny or how fat our snowman's going to be. So let's just lift him up a little bit there, make him a little bit taller. And then we have the head. So once I'd built up the white on the craft card, I then went around using Ranger Archival ink, the coffee, just to give it that brown kind of look around the edges. So let's pop our snowman's head about there. Okay, so now we've got the body in place, we can start layering on the little pieces. So we've got the scarf. Again, I went around the edges of this, just using that coffee archival ink, just to darken the edges up a little bit. And then we'll pop his hat on. Like so. It's really cute. Now it's going to get a little bit fiddly now, so let's just see if I can put a little bit of glue. I could do with a real fine point applicator and a pair of tweezers. I've got a pair of tweezers somewhere, I'm not sure where they are though. Band on his hat. Just wipe off the excess glue. And then we'll grab the holly. Just put a little bit of glue on the back. And that can just tuck onto the band. Okay, so now we can start building up the face. So we've got the carrot. So it needs to go about there. I love this cute little snowman. Okay, now for the eyes, these are going to be really, really fiddly, and I'm probably in danger of dropping these on the floor. So I just need one tiny little blob of glue. And then slide it into place. So I've got a little bit of like a wax, it's like a pickup tool. It's actually got a wax core. It's like a pencil, but it's got a wax core, and it helps you pick up small objects, which is really, really cool. Useful, more than cool, actually. And then another tiny little blob of glue, real small. Down he goes. cool. And then for the hands, same again. A little bit of glue. And then we can lay that down just on there. I think these big steel rule dies, with them being snowmen and seasonal, I don't really think they get enough use. It's a shame that they can't be used at any other time of year, but hey ho. So, okay, now that's down, like so. Now I like the way that they kind of mirror the branches in the trees up there. So I now need just to leave that to sit for a second to dry, but before I do that, I'm just going to grab that little bit of sponge. I've still got some of that grey paint on, so I just want to ground in a little bit. There we go. Like it. Okay, so I just need to leave that sit for a minute or two and then I'll be right back. Okay, so the snowman's had a couple of minutes just to set and dry, and that gave me a chance to pop onto my computer and just grab some lyrics from the song Let It Snow, which is a real cool, haha, do you get it, song for Christmas and winter, and I've just printed off a couple of lines from it. I like this one. He doesn't care if it's 10 below. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. So taken from two different verses, but I think they just fit really, really well. So I'm going to stick those down onto the page. But before I do that, I just want to go around the edges and just add a little bit of that coffee archival ink just to give it a little bit of a grungy border. Just kind of takes that whiteness from it and helps just to blend it into the background a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Doesn't take too long to do. There we go. Easy as 3.14. Okay, so let's just grab some more of that glue. Lots of glue on this page today. Ooh. Grabbed a bit quick. Very clumsy today. I must have washed my hands. Now I can't do a thing with them. So I'm going to put that one like so, just at a little bit of a jaunty angle. I did print this off on slightly thicker cardstock rather than just ordinary paper. There we go. It's a bit of a curve to the page, which is why it's not sticking straight down, so I may have to weight that down with something just to make sure it grabs. Only takes a few seconds to grab though, but a little bit more. And then we'll do that one just like that, he says. Just like that. So actually I'm going to stand the glue bottle on that until it just grabs hold, and that one on top of there. So I'm just going to leave those for a minute or two. Time for me to run downstairs, put the kettle on, and make a nice cup of tea, and I'll be right back. Did I just hear somebody get out of bed then? Is that Mr. Bentley? No, it's not moving. It's curled up on the bed, it doesn't want to move. Okay, right. So, where was I? Yes. Finishing off. Okay, so we've got these kind of snow undulations there. I just wanted to add a little bit, just a tiny, tiny bit of sparkle. So I've got some very old Stamping Up Dazzling Diamonds here. So I'm just going to put just a little bit along the edge, just like that. And I'm just going to rub it in with my finger, just so it gets a little bit of that kind of sparkly effect, just where everybody's sitting, or where the light would catch it. And then maybe just a little bit around our snowman himself. Just a small amount. For no other reason than, when can you add glitter if not in winter and Christmas? Let's add a little bit of frost. I'm not going mad. Promise I'm not going to go mad. I think that is going to do it. He says adding more. There we go, look at that. Nice little bit of sparkle. For no other reason than because we can. Yeah. Woohoo! Okay, right. Obviously, that's going to take a minute or two to dry. Just clear off that glitter from my finger. Otherwise, knowing me, I'll end up touching my face. And then I'll get funny looks when I'm going around the supermarket with glitter all over my face. It won't be the first time, and probably won't be the last, but there you go. Okay, so to finish off, all I need to do now is just to sign and date the page. So today's date is what? It is the 10th, Monday the 10th. 10, 12, 18. There you go. One really cute, Christmassy, wintry art journal page. And that was day 3. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, at the end of this video, there will be a link to my 7 Days of Christmas series from 2017, if you didn't see it or haven't managed to catch up with that just yet. That's all from me. I will see you all again tomorrow. Bye for now.